This video is about external influences, so things from outside the business and how they're likely to impact on how it's run. The acronym for remembering most of these external influences is PESTLE. And so within that, we've got political factors. And so that's the role of government. And different governments have different views, among other things, on how they're going to tax and how they're going to spend money. And generally, businesses want to see rates of taxation to be as low as possible. Lower income taxes mean consumers going out and spending more on their businesses, and lower business rates and corporation tax means that these businesses will see more of their profits at the bottom line as well. And when governments increase their spending, that's also going to help businesses, as governments are a purchaser of goods and services from private sector businesses, and governments will therefore need to get that balance right between taxation and spending. Economic factors might include things like GDP, which stands for Gross Domestic Product. The more economic activity there is, the more output that's being produced, higher incomes, and lower unemployment is all good news for businesses, as people are going to be spending more money. They also need to think about inflation though, which is about consistent rises in the price level. This can cause uncertainty for businesses, can affect firms' ability to compete internationally as well if prices are rising compared to foreign competitors. We've also got interest rates, which is the cost of borrowing and return from saving money. If interest rates were to go down, that's going to encourage more spending rather than saving, and it will make it cheaper for businesses to borrow money. So that's generally going to be good news for businesses. And then we've got exchange rates as well. That's the price of a currency in terms of other currencies. A depreciation in the exchange rate, for example, is going to make the pound cheaper to buy for foreign consumers. That makes it easier for exporters to sell. But the other side of that is it will make it more expensive to buy other currencies, and that will increase costs for importers. We've then got social factors. So that could be demographic, things to do with the size and structure of the population. Is it aging? More men, more women? What's happening to birth rates? All of these things are going to affect a business's target market. And you've got other social trends as well. So healthier eating, what's happening in the fashion market. These things are going to impact on businesses that are operating in those specific industries. Technological factors might include the use of ICT. How are businesses using this to communicate with their customers? That's going to have a really big impact on marketing, and that would also include the use of social media as well. Automation is a bit different, to do with the replacement of labour with machines to do similar jobs, and so that would really have revolutionised the HR and operations management functions in terms of how businesses are producing their goods and services. You've then got legal factors, so legislation to do with employment could include minimum wage and discrimination laws. Consumer rights legislation, Sale of Goods Act, saying that goods must be fit for purpose, or consumers would have the right to return them. And environmental legislation would be about preventing illegal disposal of waste and excessive emissions. And generally speaking, businesses are not too happy when legislation increases, because that's going to increase their costs of production. Now, we mentioned environmental factors and some of these laws to protect consumers and workers in legal factors, but you've also got ethical and environmental factors as well as the E part of PESTLE, and so that's when firms go over and above their legal obligations. So maybe to show they're being really socially responsible in terms of some of these factors as well.